What's up guys, Adam here from Backyard Gardening and Cooking. So I'm just picking some of my red lettuce for dinner tonight with our salad. But in today's video, I wanted to take you on a tour of my fall garden and show you how everything is growing now in November. So let's garden on. Alright guys, so the first thing I want to show you on this fall garden tour is how the principles of intercropping has really benefited my garden. So earlier in the year, I had a huge problem with rats. They just kept coming and eating everything in sight. So this fall, I decided to incorporate intercropping. So in this bed right here, everything is growing almost perfectly with very little to no pest damage at all. So I have a row of onions, a row of lettuce, carrots, lettuce, and onions again. So rats hate onions, and just by having the onions in this bed, it's deterring the rats from even coming into my garden. So the next gardening tip I want to give you guys on this fall garden tour is that sometimes it's easier to pull a plant up than to try to cure any kind of disease that plant might have. So in October, I was still growing okra here in this bed, and it started to develop a lot of powdery mildew. So instead of trying to cure that and potentially risk that powdery mildew spreading to other healthy plants in my garden, it was easier just to pull it up and start over with something new. So instead of having a diseased plant, I'm now growing garlic in this bed. So the next thing I want to show you guys on today's fall garden tour is how well everything is growing in this green stock vertical garden tower. So I'm growing a ton of herbs and vegetables in here, but if you guys want to pick one up for someone for a Christmas gift, or if you want to save it for the spring because it's kind of late right now to start a garden, you can use the code BackyardGardener. That's all one word to save $10. I'll have a link in the description, but what I want to do today is to harvest some of these vegetables. So right here, I have some Swiss chard. So I'm going to cut this and use this for a stir fry tonight. And I have some bok choy. Just take a couple leaves from this as well. Some better ones down here. So as you can see, everything's really healthy, and I really love how easy it is to grow vegetables and herbs in this tower. So what I have here in this bed are some cauliflower plants next to some of my chili plants. And what some people might not realize is that a lot of plant diseases actually originate in the soil. So what we want to do is make sure that the leaves are elevated from the soil level. So what I'm doing is that I'm using this tomato cage to help lift this cauliflower plant up that's a little more flimsy than this other cauliflower plant that's sticking straight up. And another thing that I'm doing, and what you should do too, is prune any lower leaves that are touching the soil. Otherwise, when you water, the water is going to splash some of those soil-borne diseases onto the leaves and could potentially cause some problems. So this portion of the garden, I have a lot of beds that are really close together. And typically with having beds this close, it's going to be hard to reach certain portions of the beds. That's why I have this pathway right here that I can stand in and do garden maintenance like picking weeds and harvesting vegetables and herbs that are ready to be picked. So in this front portion right here, I have some kohlrabi growing, and then behind me I have some celery growing. Typically celery in Houston is really hard to grow because it needs a lot of water and it's just too hot. So that's why I'm growing it in the fall and making sure that I dedicate more water to the celery than the rest of my garden. Alright guys, so that was my fall garden tour. If you guys found this video helpful, any of the tips I gave, please consider liking the video and subscribing for more. But right here I have some grapefruit, so I'm going to pick these really quick as an ending point. But if you guys like these types of videos, I have more fall gardening videos, that you guys can go check out next.